Just before I start, right, you have to pause for lots of things, even down to, as I go to edit this, right, put in the title, I think to myself, what would holy writing look like? What does it, what would it look like? What font do I use? Anyway, I think that looks all right, don't you? I'll see if I can remember to put it down below, but I saw a post on here where the gentleman was asking, do you ever pause like a song? Do you know what I mean? Like something stands out for you differently, you know what I mean? It strikes a chord. It's a pause for thought. And I thought, yeah, that's what I did. I do it all the time. I do it all the time with everything. It's exactly what I've been saying to you. Anything that sticks out to you from a song, from nature, from the telly, from adverts, from somebody else, from anywhere. Do you know what I mean? A notification. It can all be messages. It's all to pause for thought. And this is exactly what happens when you start this journey. That's what you do. You think about things that you've never had time to think about, but you'll find the time, you find all the time in the world that you need if you're looking for answers, right? I'm telling you that out of experience. So what had happened was there was this witch, right? And she'd been killed, she was resurrected, doesn't matter what, but she said when she died, it was blank. It was nothing. There was nothing whatsoever till she just flew back into life, kind of thing. And I thought, and I paused, and I thought to myself, do you know what? Because I always talk about, reincarnation. I believe it, but do I believe it? Do you know? And I thought to myself, yeah, that must be like, when you come round for an operation, because when you've had an operation and you come round, as you can remember, it was just blank. There was nothing. But then you come around, don't you? And shouting, um, all delirious, all delirious stuff, from this blackness. You're shouting nonsense, just a load of shit. And then suddenly, you know what I mean, you come round and you think, whose hand was I holding? This is what's made me think of this. It's made me go back in years. And this is how you join the dots, right? Made me go back and I thought, whose hand was I holding then? Who was I shouting? I love you. I love you. As if I was shouting it like I wasn't going to see him again, or I wasn't going to see him again for a long time. Do you know what I mean? And I nearly died. Is that like being dead, but you can't remember? You know, and so it goes on. Because I mean, it wasn't the poor guy there who was stood there who came and held my hand. You know what I mean? It was a blurry. It was somebody else. It was something else. It was blurry that I was shouting this to. You know what I mean? And I thought to myself, then it took me straight back to when my sons were young. And they were both preschool, different times obviously because of different ages, but both in different ways. But the same story was basically what they told me. And this is the things that stick in your mind. You'll remember these things because you have to remember these things because they're important only to you, right? So this is my, you know what I mean? This is my confirmation of to myself amongst all of 100 million other things about reincarnation, because he said, I chose you, right? And you just listen to your children because they're saying even more now these days, they're clued up to hell, right? They know hell, they know heaven and hell, right? They know it. But he said from nowhere, both did, right? I chose you. And I said, how did you do that? Where were you? What? With my goose pimples. And he said, this is kind of the story. I've probably got bits wrong, but it's the general thing. I'm sure they'll pull me up. So they said, what happened was they were in this place, everybody was in white, it was all beautiful and everything, and this big tall man come up to him and he said, right, come with me, you know what I mean? And he said, look, and we looked in this, they looked in this river, and they seen all of these people, all of these ladies in the river, right? And he said, this man said to him, you can choose, you choose your mother, you know? And I said, so what did you, what did you do? What happened? And he said, all we had to do was jump in. Just jump in. It's that the birthing bit of the birthing water that comes out with them. But to make it a little bit easier, maybe on the first one, not on the second one, he was like a big dry melon head. Oh, sorry, Jack. Anyway, getting back to this, right? Just think about that for a minute when these children say these kind of things to you that they should not know, and that gives you goosebumps, right? It's pause for a thought, because when you think of it, right, which because thinking of that other, it's made me think of reincarnation, right? When you think of it, it's like, do you know what? That is absolutely fantastic. How amazing is it that they chose you? They chose you. Do you know what I mean? No mention of the no mention of the dad, the fathers, no mention of that, right? It was choose your mother, right? How amazing is that? Now, I'm not going to go into all the, well, why did we choose ours? You know, you know, everyone in our life, or has been in our life, is for a lesson for some reason. So it's amazing. And I just cried to them last week when I remembered it. I said, how amazing. You actually chose me. Do you know what I mean? It's a miracle. So there you go. This is pause for thought on these things. And the moral, another moral of this story is, don't think that you can have a watch party with me. Ever. You can't watch anything. Ever. I promise you. I pause. I even will pause you speaking, right? If you've just said something that makes me go, oh, hang on a minute, that joins with so. I'll pause anything and everything and everyone and everyone. There you go.